Hi Taurus, welcome to your weekly reading with me, Cindy. All right, Taurus ladies, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, deep spiritual messages this week. Many oracle cards. So we're gonna get started because it takes me a while to shuffle it all out and then I put it on the table and then I kind of pull in the message. I will show you the cards as best as I can as I go. Now I have asked the other 3 signs that I've already done because it takes me a while to get into the reading. If you are sweet enough to post the timestamp in the comments when the reading actually starts, I will heart it and pin it. I'll be very grateful, and so will everyone else who doesn't want to sit and watch me shuffle. But I like to shuffle on camera so you guys can see that this is real, this is what's coming out. Ooh, we just got cards coming out for you already. Ooh, and there's so much to say for Taurus. All right, we have the Scorpion card, the Swan, the Turtle, the Elk. Can you hear that? There's a guy with a snowblower across the street. It's kind of noisy. I shoveled. I think it's so funny. Me, a woman, I'll go out and shovel and all the guys have their snowblowers. Just saying. All right, so next deck. Taurus, deep spiritual message for Taurus. Taurus, deep spiritual message for Taurus. Ah, what do you have here? Oh, you have Otter Spirit. You are never alone. Oh, it's really loud. I'm guessing you can hear that. Cat Spirit, claim your independence. That's cute. I love that cat. Bee Spirit, sweet results await. All right, more cards. There's many cards. Quite a story comes out when I get all of these down and I start looking at them. Taurus, deep spiritual message for Taurus. Taurus, deep spiritual message for Taurus. One out of this deck. Ooh, many paths. All right, and now the final, well, not the final. I will be pulling out probably to clarify some stuff with my tarot. So this last oracle deck is El Ki, she who. So she who what? Let's see. She who, what do we get for Taurus? That's way too many. We've got a lot to do apparently. That's about half the deck. I will take a lot of cards, but I will not take half the deck, Taurus. Okay. She who. All right. Oh, so you have one. She who divines, Futura, future choice and judgment. Ooh. I gotta move these around. There's a lot of cards here. I'm going to require a little bit of time. You can play like the Jeopardy song in your head if you would like. Or if someone was sweet enough to post when the reading starts in the comments, you can click on. So give me a second here. Oh, yeah. Okay, it's pretty clear. You're going through a rebirth. You're hitting a rebirth. You're hitting a brand new big cycle. A new chapter. So I'm going to hold up what I'm getting here. The Scorpion card. The Swan. The Turtle. And the Elk. So sort of starting with this, when those came out, I kind of got immediately the message being pushed to a point of diving deeply almost to the point of feeling like you are drowning in this, your own spiritual awakening, your own, it's the judgment, you know. And I think it's interesting that I got that feeling of a rebirth at the top, and the very last card that came out here was Futura, and the last word in it is judgment, which is like a divine rebirth, and she who divines. So there, and it's really interesting because you have you are never alone, yet you also have the claim your independence, right? Like, I think that's kind of cute. So there's a message in there too, and you're not alone. So with this Scorpion energy, I'm getting that's almost feels like a tower moment, Taurus. This Scorpion energy feels almost like a tower moment to me, and pushed you into reflection, a lot of deep self-reflection here, looking within, understanding more about yourself. But with this turtle, I feel as if, you know, I get this feeling from this turtle, like he's not like what you would call, you know, a sea turtle. He's obviously not one of those. He, to me, strikes me as, you know, like one of those, like a red-eared slider that can live a bit in the water and a bit on the land. It's got some webbing, but not adapted to go like really deep down into the ocean and then be able to maneuver and swim around and survive. And I feel like you've been plunged into this really deep dive and looking almost, it is this like way above your head. Like I feel like you're almost way above your head with this deep dive energy that came upon you through some sort of a tower moment with this Scorpion energy, like really stinging. And at first you were reflective. You were, whatever this was that sort of triggered you to reflect on yourself and how you saw yourself and where you're going and what you're doing and who you're with. You know, it was just kind of reflective. And then it just seemed like the more you looked into the reflection, the deeper it pulled you in. Like it just pulled you in deeper and deeper and deeper into this reflection, and you were drawn into it. Almost like a doe in the headlights, like eyes wide open, and you can't stop looking at this deep reflection of yourself. And then you're in so deep, it's as if then you realize, holy shit. Like if you've ever done that, like been in deep water and tried to see how far down you could go, and then you realize, oh my God, I gotta go the same way up, but I have to keep holding my breath and I'm running out. Like I need to breathe. And it's kind of like that, like, I need to breathe, I went too deep, I need to breathe, I need to breathe. And it's telling me almost as if pushing too hard, pushing too fast into some sort of spiritual awakening that you have been guided, catapulted into. And you're kind of like, okay, yeah, I need to do this. Maybe I need to do this. I need to go deep. But getting so deep and then realizing I need to come up for air, but I'm so deep, I don't know how to do that. Almost as if, so let's put this into every day. You know, let's say, okay, I decided that you decided you're going to do yoga. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to do Reiki healing. I'm going to go for a massage. I'm going to buy crystals. And all of a sudden, the process of this deep dive has become overwhelming. There's too much involved in it. There's too much coming in for you. You've created too much responsibility around it. It's become heavy as opposed to, it's almost like a catch up energy. I feel like somehow the universe provided this Scorpion energy to come in and like this tower, and it's this catch up with this dive. It is. I just feel like with this swan, you just looked in. You looked in on yourself and you couldn't stop. It just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And then you realized, almost as if you put so much of your energy and your time and your effort and your thought and your emotions into this deep dive of yourself, that the rest of the world melted away. And the thing is, it doesn't stop functioning. The laundry still piles up. The bills still have to be paid. The driveway still has to be shoveled, right? And then so you kind of just start to come up and realize, oh my God, that didn't actually help me. it didn't help you. The deep dive, it's as if it didn't help you because you went too deep, too fast, for too long, and now you're trying to come up for air, and all the things it's almost as if all the things that you were trying to not get away from, but distance yourself from to do this dive piled up around you, and now it's almost like there's even more of it than there was before. I'm getting like overwhelmed in this story, this energy that's playing out in these cards for you. It is very overwhelming. And then with this elk, this is a very powerful energy. So this feels like, to me, this is a very natural, very powerful, very present rebirth on more like your terms. This something pushed you into whatever happened here that was very overwhelming, and trying to come up for air and realizing you're too deep now. I'm too deep. Like, you're gonna swallow some water, you're gonna come up coughing, it's gonna be a struggle, it's you know, but you're gonna recover from it. And then when you do, I feel like with the elk, you're gonna harness the rebirth, you're going to have better control. You're not gonna be pushed, because I know Taurus doesn't like to be pushed. God forbid, don't push Taurus, don't push them. You can, I've learned this, you can manipulate them with food and affection. That you can do, but you can't push them. You can't push them. So, whereas this was not a manipulation through food and affection. This was not. So Taurus doesn't like that. It was a push. It was a hard push. It was a sting. And almost as if the venom from the sting, from this tower moment, paralyzed you while you were looking deep within yourself. It paralyzed you while you were looking deep within yourself, and you couldn't stop looking deep within. It's really cool. It's so cool. I know I've seen people like, what do you smoke, Cindy? I actually don't smoke a thing. This is just me. This is what goes on in my mind. I think when you're an artist, yeah, you just have a very different way of thinking. But it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun now. Like, I'm sure somebody's resonating with this reading. These cards came out for a reason. And that elk is, I gotta show you too. The way the cards play out on, it's very important when you're reading cards, the energy, body language, all that stuff. So here's all the cards. This first half anyways, okay? And this sting, the scorpion directs it right in here, struggling, and but comes in to me and calms this beautiful energy, this elk energy. All of this energy feels like you, except perhaps the scorpion. I feel like this is somehow outside of you, in that it was unexpected. The universe perhaps did it, or somebody did it, something happened. But with this elk energy, the elk is very stable. I would qualify it as like pentacle energy, like Taurus. Very grounded, very stable, because you've gone so deep into the water. Like, look at this, the fire. There's the alchemical symbol for fire. The fire ignited, and that's why it's like a tower moment to me. It's very fiery. It ignited this dive that you started on yourself, and all this water energy, like so deep, gone down so deep. And actually, raise your hand if you're a Taurus and you're a good swimmer, because I haven't known very many Tauruses that were good swimmers. You have the very dense body structure, so they tend to sink. So yeah, it's almost like you sunk in this, you were just plopped into all this water energy, and it was overwhelming too, like a lot of water energy, a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, and it's like you're drowning in your own feelings and emotions that have been created from this fiery sting. And then the grounded energy of the elk comes in. So this is the part of the message that gets really beautiful here. Really beautiful. And like, that's the rule I have with my spirit guides. You know, you're going to give us shit. You better give us something to look forward to. And there always is. There always is something to look forward to. There's always a new cycle around the corner, or a new something. There better be. That's the way I play the game. So, Otter Spirit, you are never alone, and claim your independence, and then sweet results await. These all came out from the same deck. Now, I want to hold up specifically just the otter and the cat. Then you are never alone, and yet claim your independence. So you are never alone. I think this is a really important message in terms of understanding that, you know, when things get rough, when we're pushed to points of feeling overwhelmed, that there is still guidance around you. There's still support around you. That everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And it feels like you've just been, you were just pushed into high school. It's like, boop, there you go. Like at this time of year. So yeah, you've missed the first semester or whatever's going on in there, and there you go. Time for new lessons in life. That's kind of what happens when, you know, we go into a cycle where there's a tower moment, there's a big change. This is Earth School. So you may have been on summer vacation and now you've gone back to school, but it's almost like summer vacation was too long. You took too long, you did an extra trip, you went around Europe maybe, I don't know. But now you've come back to Earth School and it's like grade 9, right in there. You don't know where you're going, you don't know where your classes are, everyone else is already ahead of you. It's like this overwhelming trying to catch up energy, but it's because you're going through some sort of growth, strength building. You are never alone. I feel too, there's great friendship all around you, family support, but definitely spiritual support in this. This is happening for a reason. There's some sort of growth that you need to go through. And I feel that the reason it became very overwhelming at first, these changes in this dive, was almost so that it was part of the growth to give you the experience and the strength of coming back into your energy. And when you do a rebirth in your energy, then it's right, and then it's whole, and it's very powerful, and you're working with energies as they come in and out of your day. And look at this elk. This elk to me can harness the energy of an eclipse. That's like magic. That is very powerful magic energy. And that's where you're going, or you're in, depending on, you know, how this is resonating for you. If you feel like you've just had this tower moment, if you feel like you are overwhelmed, if you feel like you're trying to come up for air and realizing I went down too deep, the elk is around the corner. You're going to come up for air, you're going to be coughing, you're going to be struggling, but then it's going to ground you. Almost as if, you know, I just picture someone coming out of the water and coughing up the water and laying on the beach and struggling and catching their breath, and you lay there for a minute and it's almost as if laying on the beach grounded you again. It connected you with the earth and connected you with that steady feeling. And that's part of the guidance here. You won't drown. You won't drown in this. You're not alone. However, you may feel like you are at points, and there's a reason for that. So, you know, because sometimes we feel like, you know, I feel like the universe has forgotten about me. I feel like, you know, nobody cares. Nobody realizes what I'm going through. Try to remember that you're not alone. But those points in time are happening because this is part of the lesson. This is really part of the lesson for you, is to really claim your independence. And claim it in a very unique and dynamic way. When you went into, or when you're in, while you're in that very deep dive, you're going to see things about yourself you never saw before. You know, when you're pushed to a point of literally feeling like you're just barely surviving it, you're barely getting it through, that's when you realize how strong you are, right? You don't realize how much you can actually do until the universe or someone pushes you to do it. And once you really claim that, who you are, knowing what you're capable of, what your strength is, how far you can go with this or anything, there you go. The sweet results await. I feel very much like this happened, because the universe has things to bring to you and you weren't pushing yourself there. There had to be a massive catalyst to push you into the water and go deep. I actually feel like you jumped in the water. I just got this imagery of this person just, you know, going about their day, da 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 da, and all of a sudden this tower moment comes in and it's fiery, it's full of flame, and it hits you and you're burning, you're on fire, and you have no choice but to jump into this water. You see your reflection, you're like, oh, I'm on fire, and you jump in and it cools you and you immerse yourself in it till you realize you've gone so deep. This is not good. So the sweet results await. And then, isn't this beautiful? The only card that came out of the Shaman Oracle deck is the Many Paths. This is going to open you up to so many choices and options and possibilities that you didn't have before. You didn't have these possibilities and options and choices before. And within the many paths, oh, look at that. You find more regrowth, but it's not as difficult. Oh, wow, this is really cool. I hope this comes in here. Okay, let me get this into focus. Okay, now the first thing I noticed, and I noticed a secondary image, is, do you notice how this looks like you know, when you're in the shallow part of the water and the ripples and the sand from the action of the waves creates those little marks in the sand? It's as if now you can go into the water, but it'll never be too deep. This is like ankle shin depth to me, and it's beautiful. It's like that sand looks warm, but the water is cool. And then we have this silhouette, very faint, of this person's upper torso and their mind, and their mind is lit up. Their third eye, it could even be like crown chakra here, that's also lit up. And then the heart too. The heart, a balance. This I feel like it's like an imbalance. You've been thrown into this imbalance to be completely unbalanced in a situation so that you can gain your balance, but it's on a new footing. It's on a new platform. It's on a new shoreline. It's very calm. You can't drown in this. When you look at your reflection, when you look deeply within yourself, you're not going to drown in it like you did before, or felt like you were drowning in it before. Futura, she who divines. Yes, this is very divinely guided, whether you believe it or not. This is to give you, it's to give you a future with choices. A future with choices. And what did we just say here with the many paths? Choices are good. Oops, not yet. I banged my singing bowl. We're going to get into that at the end. Choices are really good. Now, these feel like balanced choices though. You know, because sometimes it can be hard if we have a lot of choices in a part of our life where we never had choices before, and all the choices seem like ideal. So what do? You know, sometimes people are like, wow, you're so lucky. Look at all the choices and the opportunities you have coming towards you. But that can be a little bit overwhelming because as much as you want that one, you also want this one and you want that one. But if I take this one, then I don't get those ones. And you know, so there is that aspect of having a lot of choices, but I am not getting that with this. I'm getting more the choices that give you the opportunity to really direct your life. So let's say it's a job opportunity, and then you have 2 or 3 that come in. They all have the ideal pay scale that you're looking for. But one might be, you know, or 2 of them might be further from home, but there's 2 different ways to get there. And one of them is, you know, there's nothing along the way. It's kind of very scenic. But then the other one is a little bit scenic, but there's a grocery store along the way. There's a liquor store, beer store. There's all sorts of stuff. And you kind of think to yourself, you know what, that's kind of convenient because when I'm coming home from work, I can stop there. I can pick up some groceries for the night or whatever, and I can go home, and it won't really delay me because I'm not making a side trip or getting home and then going out and do, like, these are kind of like, yeah, I like that. Like, you can make choices about how things benefit your life or how you want things to benefit your life with this, that I'm getting with this path and these choices. And perhaps finding more flavors in ice cream. I'm just saying, because ice cream is good. And you're a Taurus, so yeah, you know what? If you walk into a place and there's a lot more choices in ice cream, bang. So, she who divines the judgment, and this is to me, you're not really in the rebirth. You're moving towards the rebirth. It's like you're in the birth canal. Oh my God, it's totally like you're in the birth canal. It's like, yeah. Because it is the last card and the last word on the card is judgment. So, this is a rebirth. It's a new beginning. It's leaving the past completely behind and walking into a brand new future. But wow, it's as if the Scorpion energy was like that contraction. You're the fetus in the womb and you're about to be reborn into something new. And this contraction, it just squeezed you. It's like being forced forward. And it's almost as if when you're doing this deep dive, it was like the in-between. You're no longer in the womb and you're no longer in the world. You're in the birth canal or you're in the pelvis and you're kind of stuck in there. And it's almost like maybe the umbilical cord is a little twisted. You haven't taken that first breath yet. All the amniotic fluid is still like in your mouth and in your chest, and you're just about to come out. And then when you do, on a button, wow, there you are. Like it's going to be, you are moving towards, Taurus, a rebirth here. And I feel like you're in the birthing pains of it. You're in the birthing pains of this rebirth. So let's get into the tarot. Let's find out, what Scorpion did to you. What this major contraction was in this birthing process. It really feels like that, doesn't it? That's what that water is. It's like the amniotic fluid coming out, and you'll never go back. Well, at least not all of you. What is that terrible saying, guys? They spend 9 months trying to get out and the rest of their life trying to get back in. So some of you might go back in. All right, Scorpion, the Scorpion. What did the Scorpion do to Taurus here? What did the Scorpion do to Taurus? What did the Scorpion do to Taurus? What was this moment? What was this moment in time? Oh, wow. What do we have? Oh my gosh. Disappointment. But you didn't see this coming. I really don't think you saw this coming. Prince of Cups and the Knight of Cups. The first two, the Prince of Cups and the Knight of Cups. There's a lot of love, emotion, romantic feelings here, but they're not mature. It's not the King or Queen of Cups, so it's not fully mature energy. It's the Prince and the Knight. It could be a little bit naive. It could be a little bit over romantic, over ideal, idolizing a situation or a possibility. And then this Four of Cups is often about like a disappointment, something missing out here. I feel though, when I look at this right now, it's like just a torrent of tears, like a torrent of tears spilling over these cups. Again, it's like so much cup energy for you. It's just so much water, like so much emotion and feeling. I feel as if the way I see this knight coming back to this prince, his energy is moving here almost as if you were redirected. Like maybe you, almost like an offer of love or the love you had was sort of redirected on you. And that was part of this tower moment that created this disappointment, this torrent of tears even. This torrent, and the tears could just be like heavy emotion, like sinking in this heavy emotion. Let's get right into the elk. I feel that this is a very empowering energy that's coming for you, that you are going to sort of harness. The elk, what does this elk bring in for Taurus? So that's a lot of cards. That is a lot of cards. Wow, now we got all the swords. Shit, I'm not kidding. Well, you are going through some cycles, huh? We'll do all the water energy, and then we'll do all the sword energy. Then we'll really get into our head and we'll overthink some shit and really take back our power. Okay, so the elk. The first card is the universe. This has been coming out like crazy this week. This is really about a massive cycle, the closing off of a cycle and the beginning of a new one. Now, I want to look at this card because there's always two ways that I read this, depending on just how the energy is playing out with it. Is this person struggling with this large anaconda type snake? Is it flowing with this new beginning, this universal energy? Or are they being sort of strangled by it? Are they struggling with it? Are they fighting against it? Oh, I feel like it's the in-between. I feel like it's tight around the abdomen, and I feel like starting to get a grip on it is what I get from it. I feel like a tightness in here in this card, but this is loose and flowing, and so are the legs. So this is, it's almost as if you are starting to come out. That's what the elk does. It's like you start to come out of this energy of feeling like you're suffocating, like you can't breathe, like you're trapped, like you've gone too deep, like you're trapped in the birth canal. Then we have the Eight of Swords, the Seven of Swords. I wasn't kidding about swords. Get ready. The Ace of Swords, the Knight of Swords, and the Ten of Swords. Wow. Holy swords, guys. Holy swords, Taurus. I hope at the end of the reading you come into some pentacles or something and really get into your energy. This swords. Now, let me see here. This deck is a little bit different. So universe, you start off with the universe. Yeah, interesting. Wow. So, okay, so the elk is going to deal with stuff. This is what I'm getting. The elk energy is going to be all about really dealing with stuff. So I feel like you became very overwhelmed emotionally about something, about this tower moment for you. And as you're coming out of that, once you kind of come out of that, you dry yourself off. Like literally, the cup energy is gone and we go into nothing but swords right after this universe. So you're starting to accept your new cycle. It's still a little tight around the abdomen, playing with this anaconda, but it's loosening. You're starting to move with it. And that is part of releasing the overwhelming feeling of emotion, And then, but with the swords, the elk is where it gets real. The elk is kind of where it seems to get real, because with the Eight of Swords, it's just like, this is something you don't want to look at. It's something you don't want to acknowledge. And it's something, but yet it's something you feel you need to move away from. It's something that is not serving you in your higher good. This, like, really, you go from emotional to very clinical, like thinking, analyzing, strategizing, you know, which can be Taurus. Taurus will strategize for sure. But this is different. Elk is like, you can't resolve this. I feel you realize you can't resolve whatever this passing from one cycle to another through a tower moment. You can't resolve that through emotion. You need to resolve it by looking clearly at everything. And then you really start to, with this Ace of Swords, you're gonna get some sort of clarity, like, wow, now I see. You know, you couldn't see when you were at the bottom of the ocean trying to come up. To really see, it's almost as if once you brush all that sand off and you've caught your breath, you don't want to look back at that tower. You don't want to look back at that tower. It was so friggin' scary, right? It was so scary. I don't want to look back there. I don't want to see that. I don't want to know any more about it. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away. I'm not. I don't want to go back. I don't want to know. But then something goes off. It's almost as if I just keep getting this imagery of someone on a beach. I don't know if I really need to go on vacation, but it's as if you're walking along that beach and the sun has started to set And it's this beautiful moment. It's almost as if you are at some point, maybe just in nature. You're alone, you're somewhere, you're driving, or maybe like the other day, the moon was coming up. It was just incredible at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was like massive. And then the sun was over there, and it was incredible. And you know, sometimes like something like that can happen, and it just kind of grounds you on a level that you couldn't have, no matter how tried you meditate or whatever, like this little moment in time. And then you get this clarity, and I really feel like you want to run with it. I feel like you want to run with it. And at first, you're going to be quick, like, I know what I need to do, I know what to do. But then you're going to realize, if I really want balance here, I have to accept what I can't change. I just can't accept what I can't change with this Ten of Swords, because you've got to go into this new cycle. It's almost like fighting going into this new cycle, but yet not wanting to look at the catalyst that created the Tower moment that ended it. And look at how this broken heart, or this, you know, this heart that's been hit with the sword, this sword is now broken. Like you break that sword, and the balance comes in. Oh, there's so many things on these swords. There's crosses. Oh, what is that called again? You know, they use it in cartographer. Yeah, cartographers use it, but I'm thinking like oceanographers use it too. I don't remember what it's called, but so it's almost like mapping your future. It's almost as if mapping your future, and the scales of justice sit above it. Ooh, with Gemini, with the Gemini energy, the scales of justice sit beyond, above it. And so with the Gemini energy, it gives me like many different options. And then that moves us into the many paths, the many different options. Let's see, last card about the Judgment. Last card about the Judgment. Because that's the last word in this reading is Judgment. What comes in... Oh, shit. Give me a sec. I'm going to show you what came in. The Tower came in, and the Six of Wands. Give me a second here. The Six of Wands is victory, so let's not get too freaked out. Oh, of course! You wouldn't look at the Tower. You wouldn't look at the Tower. I remember saying that. You wouldn't look at the Tower. Like you go into this reflection and you're thinking about everything. You're getting clarity. But remember, like, you wouldn't look back. You wouldn't look back at the Tower. You wouldn't look, because that's the final, that's like the final thing you have to do, is look back at this Tower moment so that you can see what it was, what it truly was, at a point when you have clarity. Because in the Tower moment, when you're drowning, when you're trying to get clarity, you don't understand the Tower, you don't want to look at it, you don't. But then once you have clarity, and you do, so the Judgment is you accept the rebirth. How beautiful. You finally, whatever that is for you, are able to look at what this Tower moment was from a point of clarity, of a better perspective. And then you have victory. You have victory and rebirth with the Six of Wands. Yeah, I love it. All right. So Taurus, singing bowl time. A little bit of good vibrational energy as we exit the reading for you. for shoveling snow. All right, Taurus. Thank you, guys. That was a pretty interesting reading. That was really deep. There was a lot of stuff to go through there. So, like I said, it's a deep spiritual reading. Thank you so much. And until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.